Well, welcome to AI TV, everyone. It's Nick Bradshaw here. We're broadcasting live from AI Expo Africa 2020. It's our virtual edition because of COVID. So I'm sitting here on the west coast of South Africa, and it gives me great pleasure to welcome Mark Stevenson, who's the CEO of Amathuba, a very new company, new on the scene, and also one of the startups at our show that we always showcasing new companies, new upcoming companies are launching new products. So Mark, welcome to AI TV and welcome to AI Expo Africa 2020. How are you finding it?
Thank you very much. And I'm finding it very, very amazing. I actually wasn't quite sure what the digital conference would look like. I've never really been to one. So it's really, really well done and nicely put together. Easy to navigate, been some really interesting talks that we've seen, and it's really great to just get an idea of what's happening in the AI space and in the technology space in this particular continent of ours. So I find it extremely informative.
Thanks, Mark. Well, Mark, you're presiding over a brand new company. I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for I don't know, quite a few years. But it's always exciting when you're taking a new product to market and launching a company. You want to tell us a little bit about Amathuba and what you guys are up to?
Yes, certainly. So Amathuba, let's just clear up what that actually means. Amathuba is Zulu for possibilities. So right. Effectively in English, the company would be called Possibilities Artificial Technology. The company is very, very new, as you've mentioned. We came into existence probably 4 months ago. What we found was that a lot of the guys that we'd started to communicate around the artificial intelligence space had amazing products and amazing technologies, and they just weren't really good at bringing them into commercial existence. So I think the crown jewel of our business is a bot named Sue, which basically is an extremely advanced technology that I suppose the creator of the bot, I think he feels that it's more of a general artificial intelligence. There might be a bit of a push, but it's sort of lies between the narrow and the general artificial intelligence. What it can do is it's obviously got machine learning. It's been recently upgraded to have the capacity to start to remember. And in a nutshell, what it does is you take the capacity and skills of your top intellectual individuals in the organization, and Sue basically can learn their skills and replicate those skills into your business. So one of the initiatives that we're busy with at the moment is with the Department of Health, where we actually want to create a digital doctor. And the digital doctor, if you go into sort of a lot of the rural areas, you'll find that often there's nurses that are actually doing the diagnoses for patients coming into the hospitals. They don't really have the skill, they don't really understand it, but unfortunately there's just not enough doctors. So the digital doctor effectively would be taught, this bot will be taught by the top doctors in the country, and then we can deploy that skill and that understanding into these remote areas. And then a nurse could basically just ask the digital doctor, what is wrong with the patient. The digital doctor will do the actual assessment, and that assessment will be based on the top doctor in the country, and will then do an assessment on the patient and actually give the nurse the correct indication of what is wrong with the person, and they can then move from there. So the nurses don't necessarily have to carry that weight of trying to make the decision of what to do to treat the person, and we can replicate it across a large range of spectrums.
Okay, that's interesting, Mark. So, I mean, is the nurse using a mobile phone? I mean, how does the bot interact with the nurse and the patient? Is it through audio? Is it through taking pictures? How does it work?
So the bot could sit on a laptop, could sit on an iPad, could sit on a phone. However, the company or the organization that requires it, we'll obviously tailor it for that. Typically, it would sit. At the moment, most of the presentations we do is on a laptop or an iPad or Samsung Pad or on a phone, and you just input it there. It's I think if you go to our booth, you'll be able to actually see a video of them actually training the bot. It's in the demand forecasting. It's a very simple demo, obviously, We're busy with, we've actually just, some of the guys, we're actually just in a meeting now with Vodacom and the Internet of Things guys to try and work out how we can use this technology to advance the interests of their customer base as well as the organization. So one of the things we're also doing is we're looking into demand forecasting. So the bot is able to actually, you know, traditionally the forecasting models would look historically and regressively back into the past and make sort of a prediction, not a prediction, but would use just the algorithms of that data to make a forecast of the future. Whereas now the bot can actually do that considerably better, to the point that they can actually almost determine by hour what the demand would be in an organization. So wow. It's really, really amazing technology. Effectively, what Amathuba is doing is hunting out that type of technology. Our long-term goal as an organization is to become an AI aggregator, and actually hunt down these guys that are producing these amazing technologies. We're battling to get into the commercial sector. Our focus is on Africa, and we want to bring that to Africa. We've got a large understanding of the African continent and how business operates in the African continent. So we want to effectively get this technology that these geniuses are making, if I can put it that way, and actually commercialize it into the continent and make it reachable.
So Mark, does that mean that you guys are helping, let's say you stumble over some more technology that you feel is relevant to what you're doing? Are you also able to invest in that technology? Is that another arm of what you're doing with your business?
Effectively, we want to do that. What we find often is well, what we found so far is that, so if you take a bot named Sue, the guys that have developed that are you know, sort of mathematically inclined. They don't really understand the commercial implications. And what they've said to us is there's a lot of uncertainty around those commercial agreements in the African continent. So, you know, there's a lot of politics, a lot of commercial, if I can say, difficulty around trying to navigate through all of that. And that's what we're doing. We're sitting and saying, look, you guys do what you do, and we'll bring this into commercial fruition. So that's effectively what we want to eventually get right for a lot of these guys that are battling to, you know, they've got great technology, but they can't quite get it into the market. And that's where we kind of want to focus as an aggregator. But at the same time, to your point, yes, we will look at potentially investing in those technologies, like we have with Sue. So Sue is still part of our, you know, we've invested in the technology. Others we'd just potentially partner with. So we will look at obviously partnering. You know, if you look at RPA, that is sort of the workers. Sue would be the cognitive portion. So she's like the manager. So yeah, there's great synergies around trying to partner in those areas as well.
Yeah, I mean, I just actually, the previous meeting, the previous interview I just did was Guy Kirkwood, who's the chief evangelist at UiPath, and he painted a very interesting version of the future where every individual has a robot, a cobot or a helper. Obviously, predominantly that's, you know, in the world of work at the moment, but now, you know, with voice assistants at home and the kind of technologies that you're looking at, you know, this stuff is now seeping out into, you know, greater exposure to consumer type use cases. So I think it's a very exciting time. You know, I mean, when we started the Expo in 2018, we did the research in 2017, you know, even then they were still talking about the third AI winter.
Yes.
But the 3 years since now, I don't see that. I see a reality where, yeah, the products are real, the cost of development, a lot of the components are free. Access to cloud is initially free if you're a startup. So never been a better time to be an AI entrepreneur. Would you agree?
No, absolutely. Definitely. And I think as an organization, you know, our slogan is taking back humanity through technology. So I'm a very big believer that technology needs to start freeing up these areas in our lives where people are just, you know, working these exceptionally long hours. And I would like to eventually see that, when I say taking back humanity, that as an organization, we in actual fact start to free up time. A typical example I used once was, you know, you look at people at home. I mean, you look at robotic vacuums today. I mean, vacuuming the home could take an hour. You know, now you don't. You can actually get a robot to do that, and you can take that time and go and walk the dog and do things that in actual fact are, as I say, taking back our humanity, so that we as humans can start focusing on the areas that actually add value in our lives. And I believe if we can get the technology to start changing that and allowing us to actually be humans again, I think overall in society we will start to spend more time with our families, build a better fabric within those families, and start to actually become a society that in actual fact can focus on the important things of life, which are being human and living and entertaining and interacting, and let the robots do the, the horrible stuff.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, to set up these AI TV interviews, I use this app called Calendly, which I only discovered a few weeks ago. And I just thought there's got to be, I'm very time poor in the run up to this event. So I thought if there's got to be an easier way to configure all these interviews. And then it was like, hang on a minute, I'll let you, the interviewee, configure the interview. I'll tell you when I'm free, and then you just choose a time. And that, I literally had 33 interviews lined up in 30 minutes. I know that to do that individually would have taken ages, but you can see where that's logically going to go with all the other things that you can just basically automate. And I think it's a really exciting time, and companies like Amathuba are, you know, pioneering on different business models, as you say, AI aggregator. These are things which we wouldn't have even been talking about 3 years ago, let alone, you know, let's say 3 years ago when this technology just wasn't
absolutely
possible. Just to wrap up, Mark, I mean, what's the future for Amathuba? What's the next sort of 12, 24 months looking like for you guys?
Okay, so at the moment we're just pushing heavily to get our brand out there, to actually specifically get Sue out there, the bot. We want to share the wealth. So one of the fundamentals around the business is to actually build reseller agreements through Africa, which we're busy with now. So we're in discussions with guys in West Africa who are very keen to take up the whole West African area. We're in discussions with guys in East Africa to drive and promote that. So we've got a very strong reseller agreement, which is financially beneficial both to obviously ourselves and obviously the resellers that would be part of it. So we want to actually not just advance this technology, but we actually want to share the wealth and advance that through the African continent as well, so that people can get involved in it. So that's kind of where our focus is at the moment, and it certainly will be for the next 12 to 24 months.
Brilliant. Well, Mark, it's great to meet a brand new company that's doing something new. Our show now lives on for another 30 days. So we're hoping to drive through maybe another 10, 15,000 people from across the region through our platform. And hopefully they'll come to your booth and they'll learn more about what you're doing, and we'll get that brand recognition out there for you. But Mark, many thanks to you and you know, and to the team who've come late to the show and signed up. Thank you for that leap of faith. And we look forward to seeing you next year, but best wishes for the rest of the year.
Thank you so much for your time, and best wishes to you guys. And thank you very much for putting this expo together. It's been phenomenal.
Thanks very much, Mark. Cheers.